How did Israel gain so much power over the United States? It comes in 4 parts. Level 1, bribery, creating the mega donors. Level 2, blackmail. Level 3, the media. And level 4, the origin. Let's start with the bribe. They created the largest self-licking ice cream cone. In short, U.S. foreign aid to Israel, which is always in the billions, is split into 2. One part is earmarked for U.S. defense industries, making the MIC happy. The other part goes to benefiting the commercial interests of a select cabal of extremely wealthy state leeches. This creates a donor class. The donor class then lobbies directly or finances professional lobbies like AIPAC to bribe Congress to do Israel's bidding. Their first demand is always to send more money. If a congressman gets out of line, they will finance their opponent. 97% of AIPAC-approved candidates win. The United States is subsidizing its own subversion by a foreign state. Israeli bribes come from the American taxpayers. The entire gambit relies on foreign aid and an unregistered lobby. If the U.S. would end aid to Israel, the entire cycle stops. Why did the aid start? To keep the Suez and the Red Sea away from the USSR. But our greatest allies spied on the United States, stealing the signal intelligence and first strike plans, and gave them to the Soviet Union in exchange for Jewish diaspora to move to Israel. This is why years ago I realized U.S. foreign aid is at the root of everything that sustains their power. End all aid to Israel. Level 2, blackmail. In much the same way, a network of wealthy Jews acts as the financial backbone to construct a massive blackmail operation. This is exactly what the Jeffrey Epstein pedophile ring was. Billionaires like Les Wexner, Leon Black, Glenn Dubin, all Jewish Zionists, all with ties to the Israeli state officials, bankrolled the operation that Maxwell and Epstein managed with Jean-Luc Brunel and Claude Haddad. Once someone is compromised or doesn't want to lose access to what you're offering, money bribes are no longer necessary. In fact, through blackmail, you can force another to institute bribes on your behalf. So let's expose them. They hate being named. Demons operate in the dark. I name every major capo in that operation in these maps and in this client list.
Of course, war is horrible, so why did the Palestinians initiate this war with their vicious attack on Israelis on October 7th?
Well, they didn't. They didn't. This war has been going on for 75 years. Israel initiated it in 1948 by ethnically cleansing 750,000 people. We must expel Arabs. We must expel Arabs and take their places. We must expel Arabs and take their places. And if we have to use force, not to dispossess the Arabs of the Negev and Transjordan, but to guarantee our own right to settle in those places, then we have force at our disposal. David Ben-Gurion, the first prime minister of Israel, said that in 1937. And that's what they proceeded to do. The people in Gaza, this is what you need to understand. The people in Gaza, over 80% of them are refugees. Many of them are from a place called Majdal Asqalon in what is now southern Israel, in a city called Ashkelon. And they were dragged from their homes and driven from their homes, placed in prison camps, barbed wire prison camps, and then dumped in trucks in 1950 into the Gaza Strip where they would be permanently warehoused. And then Israel proceeded to move Arab, Jewish refugees and Russians into Ashkelon to prevent them from ever coming back, and pass laws to prevent Arabs Palestinians from being able to return to their homes. 750,000 were ethnically cleansed. For 18 years, the remaining Palestinians, 100,000, were internally displaced inside Israel. The remaining were put under military rule. They were under military occupation until 1966. Then in 1967, Israel violently, in a war it initiated, occupies Gaza, occupies the West Bank, occupies the Sinai Peninsula, the Golan Heights in East Jerusalem, and then invades Lebanon in 1982, attacking Palestinian refugees there, puts Gaza under siege in 2005. No one can get in or out without Israeli military permission. We must kill and kill all day, every day. That's according to Arnon Sofer, an Israeli government consultant who helped devise the siege of Gaza. For years, Israel would not allow certain chocolates and A2 paper into Gaza. And then they began these brutal military assaults, which they call mowing the lawn. Slaughtering a few people, will leave Hamas intact, but teach them a lesson. And I talked to you about those assaults that took place on Gaza. So this didn't come out of a vacuum. You're not going to be able to hold people under siege, to cut them off from the world, and then expect them to just play along. And that doesn't mean that I celebrate what happened on October 7th. It should have never had to happen. The reason it happened is because of the Israel lobby here. The genocide Democrats and the genocide Republicans who deny the Palestinians any right to have rights. And it's the right to have rights that defines you as a citizen. They're citizens of nothing. And now we see what Israel really thinks of them, really thinks of their children. Gaza has become a graveyard for children, according to UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres. So this didn't start on October 7th, and it's not going to end when there's a ceasefire.